St. Kitts. Keep it sweet. Keep listening to Vaughan.
In the studios of Vaughan Radio and across the islands, it is precisely 4:30. We now present an address live by the Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley. This address is done live from the studios of VON Radio. Following the address, the Premier will entertain questions from you, the listening audience, on telephone numbers 1-869-469-1616 and or 1700. Premier Brantley.
Hi, Webbo. I'm glad to be here. Those who are clearly looking online will see that I'm wearing a mask. I tend to do that whenever I'm out in public, just to demonstrate the need for it. But since I'm here in the studio and in a room by myself, I shall take it off so that I can speak more comfortably. Okay, that's a little bit more comfortable for me. Good afternoon to you, Webbo, and good afternoon to the listening public. You said an address, but really I just came to share some information, and with the hope that if there are people out there who may want to call in and ask questions. I want to start, of course, by wishing everyone a blessed Easter. Today's Easter Sunday. And to say to people that, of course, Easter coming at this time that we're facing is certainly, to my mind, indicative of the struggles that we are enduring. And there are certain lessons in the Easter story, the most holy of times in the Bible, because Easter, of course, demonstrates God's own commitment to us and the level of sacrifice. If we pause for a moment to consider that God sacrificed his only Son, sent his Son here to suffer and die for our salvation, to give us an opportunity at redemption, then we can appreciate that as we fight this COVID-19 pandemic together, the sacrifices that are being asked of us so that we can be safe, our families can be safe, our communities, our country can be safe, that those sacrifices pale in comparison to that which Jesus would have sacrificed, because he gave his life for us. And so in that way I want to correlate the two to indicate that, of course, this ultimate sacrifice paid by Christ for us coming at this time here in Easter is a reminder to us that what we are being asked to endure, difficult as it is, that it is important if we are to survive. I've decided to come today because, of course, questions remain, and there are always more questions than answers about COVID-19 and what is happening. And as our people celebrate an unusual Easter, where there has been no kite flying at the flats, we have no Easter Monday celebrations, no beachniks and picnics as is the norm. We understand that for St. Kitts and Nevis, for the region and for the world, that COVID-19 has really changed so much. And so it is for us now to adapt and to bring ourselves into some form of better understanding, if you will, of what it is we're dealing with and how then we'll have to make adjustments in our day-to-day lives. It is difficult for many, it is including all of us, of course, to be locked down and to be asked not to move about. It is an unnatural state to be in, not to be able to go to the hospital, to go to the flamboyant home, to see loved ones, and the case may be. And so we all appreciate that this is a difficult time for many of us. But difficulties and sacrifice are what is being asked for now. I'm reminded the words of President Kennedy, I think it was, who said that we ought not to ask what our country could do for us, but what we can do for our country. And I think this is an occasion where our country calls on all of us to sacrifice. Country calls on all of us to pay heed to the warnings that have been issued and the directions and directives that have come from those in authority. And asks us, please, to stay apart from each other. As I've heard someone put it, that it is useful to stay apart now so that we can be together again. And I think that's a very beautiful way to put it, that we are apart, but only for a moment as we get past this COVID-19 pandemic. And the hope would be that we can shortly be together again. So, blessed Easter to one and all, those here at home, those abroad. Thank you for tuning in. The curfew, of course, continues. The lockdown, 24-hour lockdown, as it's been called, continues. It continues until Thursday, that is next Thursday, at 6:01 a.m. That is the point in which it will be lifted. You would know, those of you who have been following, that there is a constitutional mandate that says that any curfew can only be for 21 days. Beyond that, it requires the sanction of the Parliament. And so at some point, if this is going to continue, we will have to go into the Parliament to get a further extension. And I'm sure the Honorable Attorney General and the Prime Minister are looking carefully at that to determine when would be an opportune time, given the circumstances, and how we can practice social distancing, even in the Parliament, in order to ensure that we stay within the bounds of the Constitution as we move forward. I know that people at home now, people are locked down, people are some frustrated, others are making the best of the time. I'm to encourage you to make the best of the time, to use the time to focus on family. I myself have tried to start cooking a bit more, to learn some of the intricacies of cooking. I've started to do a little bit of exercise. The truth is that there's a lot that we can do. We can read, we can watch movies with the family, we can help the children with their schoolwork. There's so much that we can do. Work in the yard, clean up the house, do many things. Clean out closets. You've had clothes and things there that you haven't worn in a long time. Perhaps it's a good time now to go through and to select those that perhaps you would want to donate to others. So the reality is that there's much that we can do, and rather than seeing this as a difficulty, and I know it is a difficulty, perhaps we can see it in the other way, as an opportunity to rekindle relationships and to rekindle family bonds and the like. I wanted to take a moment to indicate that the health authorities here have, in my estimation, been doing a superb job. We have, of course, a COVID-19 task force, local task force in Nevis, led by Dr. Judy Nisbet. No praise is high enough for her and her team. They have done a fantastic job. They continue to give regular briefings and updates, and I am speaking to her on a daily basis. I did promise in my very first address that I would seek to provide the necessary leadership on this particular issue, and to be able to come to you time and time again with information that is accurate and timely. And so I would want to commend her and the team, and say to her and her team that we owe them a debt of gratitude. Not only them, but all of those who are on the front line, our doctors, our nurses, our orderlies, our lab technicians, our police and security forces, our immigration officers, our customs officers, all of those, essential service, NEVLIC, the good people at Solid Waste. They've all been out there doing what they need to do to ensure that whatever normalcy we can inject into this abnormal situation, that normalcy remains, and I thank them for their service. One of the innovations that the health authorities have come up with is a health app called the Ibas Health App. It is designed to allow Nevisians to log on, put in their information, simple information, such as do you have a fever, do you have any symptoms, and that information in a secure way goes directly to our health authorities. I'm told that people have been using the app quite effectively already, and that some people have actually been able to use that app to access medical care, because what happens is once the health authorities see the symptoms, they can then reach out to you. And so that health app, you can access it at KN, take out your pens and papers, kn.unhin.org. That is kn.unhin.org. I want to thank all of those who are instrumental in bringing this to the fore. It is again showing the innovation of those here in Nevis as we try to grapple with this disease. And this app, as I said, is a useful tool because you can update your symptoms if you're having any and get direct access. Of course, if you prefer to use the telephone, you can continue to call 311 if you're having difficulties, or 661-5051. If you're having anything that appears to you to be COVID, like coughing, sore throat, loss of sense of taste and smell, you're having a fever, sneezing, any of those symptoms, you can call 311 or 661-5051. Alternatively, you can download the app at kn.unhin.org and, of course, update your status there. In addition, in Nevis, showing some innovation, we have prepared a website, nevisprepared.com, nevisprepared.com. And that website we're updating continuously with, again, accurate and up-to-date information. We're trying to use every mechanism that we have, radio, print, television, online social media platforms, to bring accurate information to you. The information, of course, on the app is free, it is simple, and it is confidential. Let me emphasize, it is free, it is very simple, and it is confidential, and that information goes directly to our health professionals. We recognize that some people will at this point in time be experiencing loneliness. Some may be experiencing other challenges, and we are concerned that our whole wellness, not just our physical but mental wellness as well, that be maintained. And so we have created some numbers for those of you who may want some counseling, you may want someone to talk to, and those numbers are 664-7269, 664-7269, and 665-9565, 665-9565. Those are numbers that you can call if you're having some difficulty, if you just want somebody to talk to. We have counselors who are standing by and willing to be on the phone and to talk you through whatever difficulty you might be experiencing. So again, our mental health is critical to us at this point as well, and we want to keep our people healthy. 664-7269 or 665-9565. Indeed, the Honorable Eric Evelyn, our Minister of Social Development, he has actually been able to give, I think, a very erudite representation to the public, indicating where we were so far in our care for the elderly, our care for the sick, those who are shut in, those who are living alone, what our caregivers are doing, our meals for our seniors. All of those programs are still running, and of course we continue to provide excellent counseling services which are confidential and which allows you an opportunity from the comfort of your homes to have a conversation with a qualified counselor. In addition, we recognize that this period of time is creating tremendous hardship for some people financially. People out of work. We know that the Social Security relief is about to start, but it has not yet started, and so some people have naturally been out of money for some time. Some people are having difficulty stocking up in terms of supplies, and so social services here in Nevis has again made numbers available for you to call the government for assistance. Those numbers are 665-2501, 665-2501, and 664-9670, 664-9670. Those are the numbers you can call if you want some assistance, if you need some assistance, and we invite you to do that. Now, there have been many corporate sponsors. We are here at Von Radio. Von Radio, I think, has been a champion in terms of disseminating information. I would want to thank Weber Herbert and his team here. They've always been here for us, for the island of Nevis. It seems now I could say from time immemorial, because they've been here for a very long time, many decades. They have provided a service. Thank you to Von. Thank you to Digicel that has offered now the added HBO package to people without charge. They have also, of course, increased their speeds at no additional charge. Flow has done likewise. Sol has made gas available to our health workers at a reduced cost, indicating I think it's for every $40 you spend, you get $15, and that is tenable right there at Reliable Motors. My good friend Carl Claxton, you can go there if you're a health worker and benefit. Delta Petroleum has done something similar where they're offering to frontline workers some relief. The Bank of Nevis, I think, has stepped up in a significant way. In a letter to me, they've indicated that they're providing tremendous relief to their customers, including up to 6 months moratorium on any payments. They're allowing people to go about 10% above their overdraft limits without any penalty. They're waiving all their fees, and I would want to thank the Bank of Nevis again for stepping up in a major way. The other banks have, I'm also told, agreed through an agreement with the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank to waive fees and, of course, payments for up to 6 months for those affected directly by this COVID-19 pandemic. That is those who would have lost jobs or lost income. I know a lot of people out there are bus drivers, people who are paying for mortgage, that they would be delighted to have that relief. And so we encourage people to go in and to speak to their bankers. The Nevis Credit Union has indicated to me that they too are providing relief. And so I want to thank the banking community, the financial houses, for stepping up in a major way, understanding that people are being affected. And so I thank them. The Four Seasons Resort has decided to continue to pay all of their workers 100% of their wages for the months of April and May. They clearly have no guests and no income, so I think this is a significant move by them to demonstrate their commitment to the island And I'd want to thank the owners of the Four Seasons Resort, the general manager and others who continue to demonstrate that they are an excellent corporate citizen. I am advised that SL Hosfords has indicated that they will make some $10,000 available, not in cash but in kind, in groceries. And so through the social services department here in Nevis, that those groceries will be made available to persons in need. And again, I invite people to call the relevant numbers for social services. Let me give you them again: 665-2501, 664-9670, 665-2501, 664-9670. If you require some assistance, I'd want to thank Hosfords and particularly my good friend Oscar Walters for stepping up in a major way to help. I think that is significant help to step forward and to offer groceries to people. I want to thank Four Seasons Resort Estates. They have also stepped up. They have sponsored hand sanitizers to be distributed to all the people here in Nevis. We are going to get on that very soon, and so I want to thank them. I want to thank Yachtsman Grill and the owners over there. They're providing meals to their workers. They provided pizzas to the hospital and the frontline workers, and I would want to thank them. Not only that, they've committed to paying all their staff, even though of course they're closed. And I think that these are the types of actions which benefit all of us and benefit people in Nevis and allow us to have some semblance of normalcy even in this abnormal situation. And so I'm very grateful to them. And last but not least, and I know I have not counted everyone, but the notes that I've scribbled to myself, I want to thank Ernest Amory and Amory Enterprises. Mr. Amory has indicated to me in a telephone call we had that his initiative on St. Kitts to offer bread, free bread and pastries to the people on St. Kitts, that even though he doesn't have a presence in Nevis in terms of a bakery on Nevis, that he will be extending that courtesy to the people of Nevis as well. And so sometime next week we will have more information on that, but I would want to thank Ernest Amory and Amory Enterprises from the bottom of my heart for this commitment. I think the commitment is doubly significant because he doesn't have a bakery in Nevis, and so he can perhaps say, listen, I don't make any money in Nevis, but nevertheless the kindness and generosity, the altruism that he has decided to extend that to the island of Nevis. And so people over here can look forward next week to some distribution of products, bread products, and various other products from Amory Enterprises, which is going to be for free. So I thank them very much for that. And I just want now quickly to give us some details. I know that, for example, our farming community has been complaining. I had a raucous discussion with a farmer. I know him as a mechanic, but he tells me he's now a farmer. And he and I always lock horns, but I always think that he has something useful to say. So I want him to know, if he's listening, that I listened to him, and that we have asked that farmers and fishers be included in essential workers whenever any next round of lockdown comes. But in the meantime, I can say that we have spoken to the Police Authorities Commissioner Brandy, who is the relevant authority who can grant exemptions, and have asked him, through our ministry and Department of Agriculture here, to carve out some exemptions for our farmers and our fishers to ensure that our food security is not compromised. We in Nevis are taking a particular view of food security, that is not just about the food coming in from Miami and available at our supermarkets that comes in weekly in the containers, but also we should be able to sell locally grown produce, and that our people should be able to have locally grown produce available to them. And so we are promoting that. The numbers, I believe, are quite good in terms of what we have distributed thus far. We have given out free seeds to backyard farmers. We've given out trays of seedlings to our established and registered farmers. We are plowing lands for free. We're providing some assistance with labor on the farms. We're providing fertilizer for free. And we are supporting our farmers. Even at the abattoir, we've waived most of the fees to ensure that our farmers are effectively taken care of and incentivized. We've also, of course, given free water to our farmers for the next 6 months as we try to boost crop production in this particular area. I will say this now, that as Premier of Nevis, this pandemic has taught us a valuable lesson, that we cannot take food security for granted. And I believe that you will see a sea change in how we do things going forward when it comes to agriculture and food security. Each year, agriculture tends to get the less in terms of budgetary allocations. I believe and I commit that that will change, and that our society now has to go back to basics in many respects to ensure that we always have food here on the island of Nevis, that we can feed ourselves and, who knows, with the grace of God and the investment by our farmers, feed others as well. And so we have to reorient our thinking. When the hotels are closed as they are here, the planes have stopped coming as they are, we still have to eat. And so our farmers and fishers now loom large in terms of importance and significance. And so we're working on that and ensuring that we provide maximum relief to our farmers and our fishers. Back to health, because this is principally a health matter, just by way of update. We have installed two new ventilators, bringing our complement of ventilators at our hospital now to 5. We have 2 that are on the way, and so we hope to have those soon. We have ordered 2 new ambulances. Before this COVID-19 epidemic broke out, we had already ordered them, so we hope to receive our 2 new ambulances very soon as well for the island of Nevis. I want to just update in terms of data for Nevis, and this is specific to the island of Nevis. We have currently 78 persons who are quarantined. We have tested 71 persons. We have had 53 negative results. We have had 4 positive results. We have 14 tests that are pending, and thus far we've released 122 people from quarantine. Of the 4 people who have tested positive, all are in isolation, but I'm happy to report that the latest report that I got is that all are in good health. And so we have not seen yet the type of pressure on our health system as we have seen elsewhere, and we pray, of course, that it remains so and that God continues to have mercy on us. In relation to our Cuban health professionals, they are now out of quarantine and therefore available to us. As you know, of the contingent that came into St. Kitts and Nevis, 6 of those came to Nevis, 1 doctor, an epidemiologist, and 5 specialist nurses. They had to be quarantined because that is consistent with our protocols, and their quarantine period is now up, and so they are now also available to us. I'm told the epidemiologist will be at our EOC, our Emergency Operations Center, which is at Long Point, and that the others will be deployed as necessary. And we thank the Cuban government again for this initiative. I like to say diplomacy matters, and here's a case where Cuba, despite its own challenges and difficulties, has risen yet again to the challenge and has reached out to benefit others, not only here but all around the world. They have been sending medical brigades to assist. And so that is by way of update. I don't want to take up all the time. I recognize that I would want to have some questions. If people have concerns that they would want to express, they want anything explained, the numbers to call are 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call, and we look forward to your calls so that I can try my best to answer them. I'll be here, I believe, I have agreed to be here until 6 p.m., just before nightfall, and I'm certainly taking your calls until then. And so I'll open the lines if there's anybody out there who would want to call, 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. As I wait for the phones to ring, and I hope there's some calls, just to reinforce our numbers here in Nevis as of today, we have 78 persons in quarantine. We have tested 71 persons. We have had 53 negative test results. We have had 4 positive test results. We have 14 test results that are pending, and we've thus far released 122 persons from quarantine, clearly giving them the all clear. The 4 persons who have tested positive are in isolation, but I'm advised are in good health. And so we continue to be grateful to that, for that, and we continue to thank, of course, our health authorities for their efforts, and to pray for those who have been afflicted with this disease, not just here, but all around the world. We continue to pray for our people, wherever they may be. This is a terrible disease that has taken a terrible toll on far too many, that came out of nowhere, it appears. And so we're grateful that our island, our country, our region, and our world has been able to respond, even though, as I keep saying, there's no playbook, There's no one who has endured this and has written a manual that we can follow. And so people sometimes criticize and say, you're not doing enough for this, you need to do less of that. And we recognize that everybody is an authority. The reality is that no one is an authority in COVID-19 because it is something that has emerged out of nowhere. I commented at home just this morning that in December last year when I heard about COVID and Wuhan, I thought to myself, well, Wuhan is such a far place. You haven't even heard of it. It's not like Beijing or Shanghai that you've heard of. You know, who has heard of Wuhan? And then to think that within 3 to 4 months the world has been shut down by something that they say started in Wuhan. It is only demonstrative of how interconnected we are and how much we must try to do the right things and to ensure that even as we endure this pandemic, we continue to practice the hygiene that our mothers and grandmothers taught us. Wash your hands with soap and water. Wash them often. We are saying to wash them as often as you can, and when you don't have soap and water, to use a hand sanitizer with at least 70% alcohol. If you're going to sneeze, I say sneeze into your elbow. Sneeze into your elbow, not, of course, sneezing into your hands or sneezing where your droplets can get to other people. Don't cough around people or cough on people. Be careful with all of those things that you do. And so it's forced us to go back to basics. And we're inviting people, of course, if you must go out in public, to wear a mask and to put a mask or even a bandana, something to cover your nose. It may not be that what you use is effective to keep out all of the viruses, but they're saying that some cover is better than nothing at all. We will be making an announcement about masks very shortly in Nevis, and we're hoping to be able to do something to assist persons in that regard. But until that time comes, we are asking you to even wrap a bandana around whatever it is you can use when you're going out in public, that you do that. At home, you are quarantined at home. Well, not quarantined. You are curfewed, if you will, at home. And so you perhaps may not need to do that in your home. But certainly as you step outside and as you feel that you may come into contact with other people, we are asking you to cover your nose and mouth as best as possible. And of course, when you're out, to practice social distancing and ensure that you remain at least 6 feet apart. All right, the lines are now open. As I said, it is 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700 for those who may want to call in and be a part of the show. Let me take my first call. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Mr. B.
Yes.
First, I'm calling to the show, right? I know you acknowledge, a lot of different, entities and so. I know you're the minister of, NEVLEC, but you don't acknowledge NEVLEC actually. But my thing is, at the end of the day, there's nothing to do without power, so you have to actually acknowledge NEVLEC too.
Well, I actually thought I did mention NEVLEC. As a matter of fact, I have NEVLEC down here on my paper. So if I, for example, if I didn't mention them, it was an oversight, because NEVLEC has been doing a wonderful job. I have been doing my own bit, even on social media, where NEVLEC has put up something. I've shared it on my page, and I've been in touch with the chairman of NEVLEC. So I agree with you that NEVLEC really has been keeping us powered up, and I'm grateful for that. So if I didn't mention them, it was an oversight. My mind is telling me that I did mention them, but if I didn't, please forgive me.
No problem.
All right? Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. And, let me, for the avoidance of doubt, say that all of our frontline people need to be commended. And certainly the people at NEVLEC have been doing a wonderful job keeping us up, keeping us lit. Could you imagine in this lockdown, if you didn't have power? It would be even more difficult to endure. And so, NEVLEC, I want to say a big shout out to you and kudos to you. As I said, I may have to replay the tape and check my own memory banks, but I thought that I did mention them. But caller, I apologize if I didn't, and I do so now. Let me go back to the phones and take some more calls. Good day. Hello?
Hi, Mr. Bradley, good afternoon.
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to be one of the first person to thank Mr. Amway in advance for his contribution towards the Federation, and I think that the bakeries them on Nevis need to reach out as well. So thanks in advance to Mr. Amway for reaching out to the island of Nevis in terms of giving free bread.
Well, thank you for that. And as I said, I think that the gesture by Ernest Amory and Amory Enterprises is particularly significant because they don't have a bakery in Nevis. So, you know, some may say, well, I don't make any money over there, so me and studying with them over there. And one could perhaps understand that. But he has reached out, and I was very, very pleased that he has done so. And we hope, as I said, in the coming days to hear a bit more about that. So thank you for that. Let me go back to the phones. It is now 5 o'clock. We're taking your calls. Good day.
Good day.
Can you move away from your radio? I'm getting a bad feedback.
On the radio they're gonna bring on. Yeah, you didn't mention anything about the water also.
Okay.
Remember, the water is health and life, eh?
All right. Well, so the water department. Let me just say everybody.
Okay.
So people don't have to call me each time. Okay. So everybody. Okay. I'm thanking everybody, including the water services. Thank you very much for that reminder. All right. The numbers to call are 869-469-1616. 869-469-1700. If you have questions, if you're experiencing difficulty, again, for those of you who may just want someone to talk to, we have our counselors standing by at 664-7269 and 665-9565. If there are those of you who may want some assistance because you're having difficulty in terms of food or otherwise, you can call 665-2501 or 664-9670. I should say a word, since the calls aren't coming, I should say a word about Social Security and that relief. The Social Security relief, we're told, is available to those who have lost their jobs or who have been put on reduced hours. The relief is up to $1,000 per month, and that relief is being made available. I believe that the necessary checks will start to flow in the next few days. Now, it's important that the self-employed individuals understand that that relief is also available to them. Those self-employed that are registered with Social Security, bus drivers, taxi drivers, etc., might also benefit from that relief. The Labor Department here in Nevis has been collating and putting together the necessary information, and the last update I had from Mr. Gary Liebert and from the Honorable Spencer Brand, our Minister, is that the relevant information has been passed on to Social Security. If there are persons who are still out there who have not yet taken advantage, you are asked to go in and to talk to the people at the Labor Department, alternatively to go online to the Social Security site. I'm told that the necessary forms are there. Now, this, I want to emphasize, is available for people who are registered with Social Security. If it is that you are not registered with Social Security, you have not been paying Social Security, then this relief is not at the first instance available to you. And I want to emphasize that because I think some people have been going around and trying to suggest that everybody on the island can access this money from Social Security. Remember, Social Security is not a bank. Social Security actually manages our money. It is almost, if you will, a trust fund manager. The funds there are not Social Security's, but the people's funds. And so it is those who are paid in who can expect to get something out. Because if you have never paid in and you have not paid in, then I don't see how you can in good conscience expect to get something out. For those who do not qualify for Social Security, again, you can contact the government through social services. And I know perhaps I'm being repetitious, but again, the numbers 665-2501, 664-9670, and you can contact social services if you require assistance. But I just thought I'd make that clear because I think that some are putting some misinformation into the public domain that everybody is entitled to the Social Security benefit, and that is not the case. It is those who have lost their jobs, who have been laid off, and certainly who are registered. That is why Social Security will check once they get the forms to ensure that these are people who are known to Social Security and therefore people who can benefit. And if you're self-employed, you can also benefit, of course, that you're registered with Social Security so that they know about you. This is, again, another indication as to why registering with Social Security, doing the right thing, becoming registered even as a self-employed individual is so important. A lot of our people never think about tomorrow. Whatever money they have, they spend it today. They're only living today for today. And then when a crisis comes, they recognize that a lot of the things that they could have done, they have not done. And so if this crisis were to teach us one other lesson, it is that our people need to be more responsible. The other day, a big debate was set off because someone suggested on Facebook that people should save and should try to save for a rainy day. And I'm told that I was cursed out because I agreed that when we were children, our parents and grandparents always said to us to put away a little something for a rainy day. My father of blessed memory used to say that he would save $1 because that was his last child. And I didn't understand what he meant. And one day I said, what do you mean by this? And he said, well, if none of my children were willing to take care of me in my old age, I wanted that $1 to be able to hire somebody to take care of me. So he put it as his last child. But saving has always been a part of our culture. Somehow, we appear to have lost that. And so people know whatever money they get, they spend. In fact, if they get $500, they try to spend $1,500. The idea of cutting our suit to fit our cloth and living within our means and not trying to keep up with the Joneses, that seems to have gone by the by. And people get upset when you have these conversations. But I think that these are conversations we need to have, particularly now that we're seeing the error of our ways in relation to some of the things that we've done. You look around, you see people in every fit. White Sands are there. Music festival, they're there. Every two can knock, as the old people say, they're there. Latest outfit, latest nails, latest hair. My goodness gracious, I never know hair was so expensive. People going out buying hair for $300. Latest outfit, sneakers that cost $400 and $500. And then you say to them, well, you are now going to go into a period for our own safety of lockdown. They say, I don't have any money to buy food for 3 days. And I am not doubting that people don't have money. I am not saying that people are somehow not telling the truth. I'm simply saying that this gives us an opportunity to reflect on those lessons that were taught to us as children and handed down over the ages to us. Because nothing in life comes overnight. I tell people, unless you win the lotto, that's the only way I know you become instantly successful overnight. Everything in life, you look at the path of every successful person, it has been work, sweat, saving, investment, and eventually you can say that they've become a success. You want a house, you want a car, you want a piece of land, it requires you to map out your course of action. And that is something that I think we have not been confronting. A lot of us have been shying away from it. In fact, I started on Von Radio on my own show, On the Mark, talking about people being responsible. And one of my good friends and advisors said to me, boy, you want to lose the election, you can't tell people them things. So you want to tell people to be responsible. That's the quickest way to lose an election. And I said, but people must be responsible. If you get a little extra money because you're working at Four Seasons and the season is good, and so you normally will get 2,000, this time you get 3,500, what do you do with the extra 1,500? You take it and go Marriott and spend the weekend and go in the casino? Or you say, let me put that 1,500 aside because I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. Let me think about my children. I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. It may bring sickness. It may bring COVID-19. None of us were prepared for it. But if we were adhering to those little lessons, then I am told that people started some big argument and say, some people rich, so they could save. Other people poor, they can't save. I'm saying to you that everybody can save. I'll get back to that. Let me go back to the phone. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
I just asking a question, right?
Sure.
I know that relief going around, but I just asking about the foreigners then, in terms of the work permit. Is there any relief coming to the foreigners and the work permit section? I don't know, I just asked a question.
All right, thank you very much. Well, it is April now, so if you are a non-national requiring a work permit, you should already have your work permit, because work permit should have been handed out since December. January, December, January is the work permit time. So I don't see that any question of relief for work permit should be coming up in April. That is something that if we need to look at it, we'll have to look at it in December. That is coming again. So caller, if you are on work permit or you know somebody on work permit, they should have had their work permit already. So I don't see that any question of relief arises there. Because if in April you don't yet have a work permit, then certainly it means that you're working illegally. And that we have encouraged you not to do, because there are consequences for that. So I don't know that any relief is relevant on work permits at this point in time. If, of course, this pandemic continues and we don't know how far it will go, then that is something that we would have to look at towards the end of the year, when work permits normally become payable. But you should have paid for your work permit already if you're in April now and you're on work permit. So I hope that that helps. Going back to the issue of saving, just to say to people that there are lessons, and I've said one of the lessons to my mind for Nevis from this pandemic is the need for us to feed ourselves. The need for us to go back to growing more food. That is a lesson. I want to say thank you to all our farmers who are out there producing and have ramped up production, and to encourage our people to buy local, because it makes no sense for us to tell the farmers to ramp up and then we don't buy the food. To buy local. At the same time, I have gathered that the government has been selling food to vendors. Potatoes, for example, the figures I saw say that the government is selling for up to $3.50 to vendors. I'm told the same vendors are then turning around and selling that at $8 per pound. From $3.50 per pound they're buying it from the government, they're selling it at $8.50 per pound. And I'm $8 a pound, I'm sorry. And I'm asking vendors, please, we're all in this together. We recognize that you need to make a dollar as well. But please ensure that we don't get into that level of price gouging, because people everywhere are undergoing hardship. And if you're buying at $3.50 from the government, you can offer a price to the public that is better than that $8. And we don't want to have to take action, so we're asking you to do the right thing and to ensure that we pass on the best possible prices to members of the public so that the public can eat, because that is critical. You know, as we look around what COVID-19 has taught us, that with all that we say and do, with all the nice cars and the nice houses and the fancy trips and all these things, you see where we come down to now? Basics. Food, water, shelter, basics. People want to know they could have something to eat, to feed themselves and their families. We can't take it for granted. And so it has taught us that lesson. It has also taught us the lesson that we must try and save something. People say poor people can't save. I don't necessarily agree with that. I understand that everybody's circumstance is different, and a poor person may not be able to save $1,000 at a go, but you may be able to save $5. You may be able to save 10. That extra Guinness, you may say, well, I'm not going to buy that. It's $5. I'm going to put it in a little piggy bank here. So sometimes we have to look and adjust and see what we do. I know that these things are not popular things to say, but someone said to me just recently, he said, you know, people talk about people not being able to buy and not being able to save. He said, I know a youngster, and the youngster spends at least $100 every month on marijuana. I'm saying these things because, you know, I'm a plain speaker. And I say, well, marijuana, they say, yeah. Others spend the same amount on cigarettes, alcohol. And you say to those folks, you say, well, if you took that $100 and you put it away, and you try and put away a little $100 every once in a while, at the end of the day, you know what you have. Yes, go ahead. You're on the air. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Is there anything for the pension?
Hello?
Is there anything for the pensioners?
But you should still be getting your pension. Hello?
Okay.
Aren't you getting your pension still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So your income has not been affected because your pension is safe.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. You're most welcome. All right. So, you know, this issue I think is important, that people try and make little adjustments here and there. You know, if you party a little less, you smoke a little less, you drink a little less, and you start to realize, wow, I've been able to free up $50. I've been able to free up $100. You know, and these are some of the things that we ought to think about and consider, because we have children to think about. We have unintended emergencies that arise from time to time. As I said, these are hard conversations to have, because some people figure, well, listen, I will do what I want to do. And whilst that is fine, at the end of the day, there are consequences to that. And we are now seeing some of those consequences where people are saying to you, I can't even afford to buy 3 days worth of food. And so the government is going to help, to be sure. But I'm saying that each bad situation, and this is a terrible one, should teach us lessons that we can use going forward. My job as Premier is not just to be Premier, not just to attend ceremonies and all that. It is also to try and direct our approach and to try to do the best that I can using my own life experiences. And now that I've come to this point where I'm leading the island and people are looking to me for guidance, to say to people that, listen, sometimes we have to reorient, sit back and rethink what we do and how we do it, and determine that from this tragedy we are going to learn valuable lessons about food security, about our own personal security, about our own personal finances. There are too many of our people who go to each department store here, they go to Coates, they go to Hosfords, they go to TDC, and they take a fridge here, a stove there, a 40-inch TV there. We have to be careful and mindful whether or not we are doing those things because we can afford them, or we're doing them because we want the neighbor to know that our TV bigger than the neighbor TV. Let's go back to the phones and take some calls. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
Nice to hear your voice and you well. I'm away from the radio, but I'm still hearing the feedback. You said self-employed from Social Security. I am one.
Yes.
But the only line that Ilerina can go on is my clothesline. That's a light moment. So I cannot go online, and there's no way that I can get to the office.
Okay, I'm gonna let me try and help you right now. I'm gonna give you a number.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if you can call, I'm sure he won't mind.
Hold on. Okay, all right.
Yeah, you can call 762 1099.
1099.
That's Mr. Liebert, who's the head of the Labor Department, and he'll provide some assistance. If you can't get him, then call 662 8130.
8130.
That's Minister Spencer Brand, okay? And they'll be able to assist you.
Okay, thanks so much.
Okay.
I'm agree with you. We have to save a little penny.
Now, whatever it is, you know that you know that was a lesson taught to you, and I'm sure you taught your children, and we have departed from it.
Yes.
We have to try our best, yeah?
Try our best.
Okay.
God bless.
God bless. Stay safe.
Bye.
Okay? Let me stick with the phones. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mark.
Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, I'm glad what the government is doing. I think you are doing a good thing to help us out in this situation. But the 2 days that we got to shop,
Yes.
boy, that thing hectic. I go over to Best Buy to help them out 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And the Thursday when I reach to the health center coming from Butler, the line reached there.
Mm.
One lady told me, "Nay, I was here since 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Like 1 o'clock, she not get inside yet.
Mm-hmm.
And the sun is still on grass. So I'm wondering if we can get a next day, work it out some way or other. God, it's so hot, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm out there tying up. I leave out there minute to 6. I think you only said 7 to 3.
Yes.
And I left there minute to 6 inside the thing, and out in the yard still full of people. I told the other girls, you have to put the West things on the shelf because I got to go look at my animals. So I have to leave. I leave them out in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if you can get a next day, you can work out something so that we could get,
Well, I have heard mixed reviews. The lines, yes, have been long.
Yeah.
Some have said that the new system of the zoning that worked. Others have said it didn't work as well. I think that we will have to continue to look at this. As I said, there's no surefire way. There's no guaranteed approach here. We have to keep trying our best.
Yeah, I know.
And so we continue to tweak and tinker to see that we can get it right. The first system they said wasn't working because people were crowding the supermarkets, and the social distancing that we wanted wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So we were fighting with that, and that's why we brought in the zoning system to see if that would make a difference. But I'm certainly going to take that back. We're going to have some further discussions before anything new is put in place. and I'll certainly see what we can do to bring some added relief to people. So as you said, to limit the lines.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay, you're most welcome. I'm here scrolling through my phone because I also had some young people who had come up with something to shop online for those who are online people, and they are, I'm trying to find the address, but it is oh, I can't find it. I have so much stuff on my social media page, but I'm trying to find, because I know these youngsters. I have it now. It is www.caribshop.us. So www.caribshop.us. www.caribeshop.us. And these youngsters are saying, and I know some of my constituents have been using it, that once you go on that site, you can order your food, you pay for it, they will pick it up and bring it for you, so you don't have to leave your house. And they bring it the same day or the next day. So I think that you should try that as well for those who are online people. www.caribeshop.us. And they are available in both St. Kitts and Nevis to bring your food for you. So once you order it, you don't have to go and stand in the lines at the supermarkets. Let's go back to the phones. Good afternoon. Hello? Hello?
I would like to be on the air, please.
You are on the air.
Good afternoon. I'm calling to asking a question. If you live close to a field, right?
If you live close to?
A field, like a football field, like stuff like that?
Yes.
Is it possible or a problem if you go there at afternoon and do some running or stuff like that?
Well, the regulations that have been provided on the 24-hour lockdown, the requirement is that you stay in your home, you stay in your yard space. The exemption that has been carved out has to do with people who are going out to exercise, if you are from the same household. So you can't go meet your friends from up the road and go exercise with them.
No, you're not. And then another thing again.
Well, you let me just be clear before you go on to the other thing. If you're from the same household, that is, you live under the same roof, you can go out and you can do a little exercising and get back into your yard.
All right, that is clear. Within the hours of what?
I'm sorry?
Within the hours of what you said?
Well, the ordinary hours. The hours of, because remember you're on lockdown, you know. So they don't have a specific time to say you can do it between this time and that time.
That is fair enough for me. We go with, it's just like three of us family members, same house, on the field in our area.
Right, but,
so you
wait, call up
the officers this?
Yes,
Could you put something in place to tell the officers this? Because sometimes they meet you and showing themselves. Another thing again, we were in our neighborhood under a tree outside. The current went, we was outside the path, and they went on with some kind of manner, and we had to leave. But what I'm saying, we are in our neighborhood under the tree. We are not out of the yard, and I think that was unfair, because if the house is at current is gone, I don't say anything wrong. We are under the tree, not out on the road, up and down the place.
Yeah, caller, again, the objective is to keep people apart from each other. So whether you're under the tree,
in the same household.
What you're saying, that people from the same household were in your yard?
Yes, we were outside under the tree.
Okay, and this tree is in your yard space?
It's outside the yard, but not like all the way up on out the road.
Okay,
it's in the same area.
Well, again, I'm trying to emphasize that the regulations say that you must stay in your house or in your yard space.
Exactly.
So there's no
put something in place, because the officers in my mind, they're doing their work, but they're doing it wrong. They don't understand, because if we're on the field right where we live, running around, I don't see that as a problem, which I am not trying to break the law, but if we're in the same house, as you said, it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, but you are saying several different things. I'm just trying to get it clear. Where you're under the tree, you're saying that it's not in your yard, it's outside your yard, but it's not far away. I'm saying that that would be against the regulations.
Okay.
All right? The regulations require that you stay in your house or in your yard space. Not to go by your neighbor, not to go by your sister, but to stay in your house and in your yard space. If the police came along and met you under the tree, the police had every right to ask you to go back into your yard space. The exemptions are exemptions that have been put there. designed to accommodate people, say, taking a little exercise, accommodate essential workers. But at the end of the day, remember, hard as this is, the idea is to save your life, the lives of your family, and the lives of the people in your community. So we know it's difficult, but that is what it is designed to do. And the world over is saying to us that COVID needs a body to move from point A to point B. If we lock down, shut down, stop moving, it can't move. And so nobody new will be infected. And the more that we comply, the quicker it is that we get beyond this and be able to go back to normalcy. So I know it's difficult, but I'm asking you, please do your best and encourage your family to do their best to cooperate with the authorities. Remember, they too are under stress because they are out there trying to enforce, and they're trying to ask people to do what people don't want to do. So it is difficult for everyone, but I'm encouraging you, okay?
All right.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we have about 35 minutes left until 6 o'clock. We're going to take some more calls if they're there, 469-1616, 469-1700. This is Easter Sunday. Blessed Easter to everyone. I decided to come here today to share some information, to take some calls, and to determine whether there are issues out there. We've had some issues put on the table in terms of the shopping, the length of time. Some people are still unclear, it appears, as to what the restrictions are and what they look like. But I continue to encourage people to adhere to the directions that are being given. And don't get into argument with the police and all of that, because I think that that is unhelpful. The police, I'm sure, would like to be out there with their families as well, but they can't, because they are out there trying to protect you and me. Let's go back to the phone. Good afternoon.
How come the police them now lock up the donkey them on the road?
That is a different matter. We will get to that. I hope you're doing well. I recognize the voice. I'm glad to hear your voice. Let me stick with the phones. Any more calls? Yes, let's go straight back. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bradley. This is your friend from St. Dumpling.
How you doing?
I love you. Bye.
All right, Dumpling. Good to hear from you. Love you too. Stay safe, please. All right? Let me go back to the phones. Good afternoon. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I was just listening that caller when she asked about exercising on the petty next to her. And I know that you answered her in a way that the first SRNO had said that she can exercise with the first SRNO. The latest SRNO prohibited. So as this last SRNO, she is not permitted to exercise even on the field next to her. I do not want her to do it, and then she gets a problem with the police.
So
she should not be there.
So clarify
in her yard.
So hold on, slow down. Clarify that for me. So you're saying that that particular provision of the first SRNO has been expunged?
That has been expunged and repealed. The latest SRNO.
Yes.
Did not give permission for anyone to exercise out of the yard.
Okay, well that is, so I'm happy you've clarified that for me, because that was not my understanding. I certainly have to go back and check on that. I was not aware at all that had fallen out, because my understanding was that the lockdown was introduced, but the exemptions would continue to apply, those exemptions that had been created. So thank you for that. Caller, if you're listening, I'm being corrected that even exercising in the field, so I'm asking you then to stay in your yard and exercise. Run around the house. If you need to, do some jumping jacks in the yard, but I will check on that so that I can bring more accurate information. But thank you for that clarification. Okay? All right, we continue to take calls. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
We need the police officers. Some of them go into person's yard, which are not fenced, then threatening the persons because they come out of the house to go by the vehicle. They're threatening to lock them up, telling, oh, they're on lockdown. They're supposed to be in the yard.
Where's the vehicle?
In the yard.
The vehicle's in the yard?
The vehicle's in the yard.
What are they going to the vehicle for?
The yard is not fenced, but they pass in and they see the person in the yard by the vehicle.
So what are they going by the vehicle for?
The person's going in the vehicle for something.
Oh, okay.
The police would go, they go back, drive into the yard, then going to tell them if they're in a lockdown and they're supposed to be outside.
Okay.
They feel like to lock them up.
All right. Well, the police, as I said, are trying to do their job. I don't know that anybody anywhere in the world will get it right 100% of the time. But I think you understand what it is they're seeking to do. In a very unusual situation, they're asking people to stay indoors. That is what they're seeking to do. And if your yard isn't fenced, then the police have no way of knowing that you're in your yard. The police may think...
Because the yard space is there, but they'll actually go back and drive in to come into where you park.
Well, I'm saying, but a simple conversation sometimes can avoid conflict. If your yard isn't fenced, it may be difficult for them to know that you're in your yard. They may think you're by the neighbor car. So I'm simply saying that...
The car is right next to the house.
Okay, well, I understand, I hear what you're saying, and there will be situations that arise. Patience from everyone is required. And understanding by everyone is also required. The police aren't telling you to do this because the police want to show themselves. The police are telling you to stay indoors to protect you and your family and the rest of us. So if it's a
some of them trying to show themselves, though.
Well,
not all.
Well, all right. I wouldn't say that, but if that is your view, I respect your view. I'm simply saying that they are having to police a situation which is brand new for all of us. And along the way, mistakes will be made. Approaches might not be the right approach. We understand that, but we're all human beings. And sometimes we, the public, respond to them in a boisterous and aggressive way as well. And so sometimes the police come, you say, well, officer, this is my yard, and I just check in my car to get something out of it. And he say, okay, fine. When you're done, please go back inside. And the argument done. But sometimes, the officer comes and the people are aggressive as well. And so that leads to, so, I think let's just try to be understanding. We have to cooperate one with each other, and not to say we start to abuse the authorities or the authorities abusing the public, but cooperating one with the other in order to get to where we need to go. All right?
Okay.
Okay, brother. Take good care and stay indoors as much as possible. Again, that is the rule of thumb. Stay at home. Let's go back to the phone. Good afternoon.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to get somebody to really look into the prices them at the market, especially the market. A week time I go there, spend $100. Now Thursday I went there, and what I normally will pay $100 for, I had to pay like $250 or $300. The prices have gone up 100%, and everybody in the market mean doing it. And really, it's a burning shame because as we all know, because this thing going around, like life is hard, and you have to really look out for the people who need it. So you have to get somebody immediately look into those prices at the market in town.
Okay, thank you very much. As I indicated, agriculture is aware that we are selling at a particular price to vendors, and we are monitoring very closely the price that vendors are selling for. We know, for example, that we were selling, I think it was cucumbers for $1.50 a pound, and vendors were selling it at $4 a pound. We know that we were selling sweet potato at $3.50 a pound, and vendors were selling it at $8 a pound. So we are looking very carefully at it. We are aware of it. We have gone publicly to appeal to vendors to cease and desist. And if, of course, vendors insist on continuing down that path, then we will have to use other mechanisms available to us, including the possibility of selling our food directly to the public. And so we wouldn't want to do that because we recognize the vendors have a right to make a living. But we are asking everybody to be considerate and be our brother's keeper, our sister's helper. We're in this together. And if you're going to gouge and make all the money in the world, no. Still can't help you if you end up with COVID-19. Still can't help you if your child ends up with it. So let us recognize that we're in this together. And each and every one of us has to do the best we can to assist each other. And that is what we're asking. We're appealing to people's better nature, but saying that if people insist on going down a particular path, then the government will have to do what the government has to do. Because ultimately we have a duty to protect the public. So let us don't get to that. Let us instead work together to ensure that we can get food to people at the best possible prices. That is the objective. We have anybody else holding? Let me go back to the phone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Mr. Premier, it is not only in the market in town, but in the supermarkets as well.
Mm-hmm.
When you keep your receipts and you hold them and you check in, the prices, some of them gone up all $2 and $3 per item. And that's the honest truth.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for that. The supermarkets I am not as able to speak to because I know that some have said that their prices out of the U.S. have also gone up. And so that might be something that factors into that. I would have to investigate that further. I confess that I've not had as many complaints about the supermarkets. But again, we're appealing to the supermarkets the same way that we're appealing to the vegetable vendors, that they do the right thing. At the end of the day, the people of Nevis have supported the supermarkets. We continue to support them. The main ones always filled with people. And so we're asking that at this point in time, when things are difficult for everybody, that they do the right thing. And that is our continued refrain. We invite people to be responsible in your home, in your own personal life, and also for our corporate entities to be responsible and to do the right thing. This is a special program we're having today on Easter Sunday, and we're taking your calls at 469-1616, 469-1700. We have another 20 minutes or so. We'll take your calls. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Honorable Premier.
Good afternoon to you.
Yes. One of the problems I think that is contributing to what is happening at the supermarket and the hours that you stand in the line is that persons go in without a list and they stay inside there for hours, not giving consideration to persons who are standing outside in the line. So I think that the management of these various supermarkets need to ensure that persons spend at least maybe 20 minutes to half an hour. Because once you have a list, you should be able to get in and out before an hour elapses.
Well, I'm also hearing, caller, that normally when you're shopping, you say, well, okay, I'm going to get my grapes by Rams, I'm going to go by Value Mart to get my milk, and I'm going to go by Best Buy up in Gingerland to get my bread. Because by that, some people shop like that because they save a couple pennies here and a couple pennies there. And that's important. So I'm also hearing that people are still trying to do that. So that is also adding to the difficulty, because rather than when they get in the supermarket, they pick up everything they want. They're saying, let me leave that one and rush downtown to the Chinese and then rush up to Best Buy to shop here. So we are also encouraging people. So I think it comes back to our people being responsible and looking out for each other. Because if we know you're outside in the sun, we shouldn't be spending an hour or two in the supermarket.
An entire hour. If you have a list, that should help you to get in and out as fast as possible.
Thank you. Great suggestion. Thank you very much. Stay safe. All right. We continue to take your calls at 469-1616. Let's go back to the phones.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Brantley. Quick question about the exercise. I just wanted to verify. Did you say that we can exercise on the lockdown days once you're within your premises with members of your household, yes?
Within your premises, yes. I was corrected on that because the original SRNO allowed you to go out to the fields and all of that once you were with your household. That was the original, that was my understanding. I've since been corrected to say that if you're going to exercise, you have to be in your yard. You have to be in your premises. You're on the lockdown days.
Okay, but on the partial curfew days, we can go out onto the main road and exercise.
Well, that doesn't appear to be a provision either. So we're inviting you because on the partial lockdown days, they're only allowing you to go out, of course, if it's for something essential. So on partial lockdown, you should be going to your doctor, to the pharmacy, to the grocery, to the bank.
And the exercise is not considered essential?
Well, it's essential in your premises. Run around your house. You don't need to be out on the street to exercise.
Thank you. I just wanted to verify. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Have a good day.
All right. You too. Take good care. People want to exercise, and I understand that, but you can do it on your landing, we say, or the porch. You can do it in run around the house. You can do jumping jacks in your yard. You can do your stretches and your planking and your push-ups. You can do all of that. I just try and stay safe. That is the abiding rule. Stay safe. Let's go back to the phones. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Mavis Paris. Pastor Paris and myself would like to say thank you to the general public for patronizing us with our masks. We encourage everyone to cover their face as they go out and to practice all other regulations, such as social distancing and washing your hands regularly.
Once again, Sun Caribbean says thank you to the general public, and we are still in production.
So before you go, you're in production, the whole world is listening to you. Well, tell us how to reach you. If I want a mask, you haven't told me yet how to get one.
But you can get my mask from my sister, 667-6146, or you can call myself at 664-2209. We are usually, on the days when we are allowed to shop, delivering masks to others at the various supermarkets. So we are usually at Jingle Best Buy, Charleston Best Buy, Value Mart, Rams, and the Chinese downtown.
How much are the masks?
$10 each.
And how much is the production? How much are you producing?
When we go out, we have an average of 100 on each day.
Okay. Okay. So now that, for example, you're on lockdown, you're busy making them?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
All right. Good. All right. Well, thank you for that. Could you give us the numbers again for those who may want to call you because they want to buy a mask?
Mavis 664-2209. Tasha 667-6146. Okay. Or also, hit us up on Facebook, Mavis Paris or Sir Shatter Paris.
Okay. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
All right. And, I like to see that, people who are entrepreneurial stepping up, making masks and doing things like that. I know that Mavis is doing some great work, she and her sister. There are others as well who are producing masks. In St. Kitts, they're producing masks. The whole idea is to encourage people to be healthy and to do the right thing. Let me go back to the phone. Good afternoon. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Mr. Brantley, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
A question, how are you supposed to fill up drinking water to last until Thursday, next week, from Thursday this week to Thursday next week? Suppose there's so much people in the one household, and so much water does use up in the household. How are you supposed to deal with that?
But
water is life.
Yeah, it is. So your water is not running, you're saying?
Not the running water, drinking water.
So just boil
plain water.
But you can boil the water. That's what I do home.
You can boil the water?
Yeah, you don't drink.
Yes, but...
All right. Well, so you're talking about stocking up from the supermarket?
Well, not really. We just pull water from somebody's cistern, because we don't have a cistern. And we out of water. We don't have any water in the house to drink. But the police officer is telling me that he will lock me up if I go and get water. I asked for his permission.
Yeah, well, these are difficult situations. You can't tolerate the water that you boil and drink that for a few days?
No.
So you must
I tried some since yesterday.
And you must get cistern water?
Yes, I am thirsty, and that is all I use, water. I don't drink juice. I have small children also, and they're asking for water.
All right. Well, caller, I don't know what to tell you because that is an unusual query that you're making here of me. I didn't know that we had different types of water that people could use. I thought once the water was potable, drinkable, that you could drink it.
Some people can tolerate the boiled water. Some people just can't.
Okay. All right. Well, I will have to go back on that and try to get some idea from the police authorities what they're saying on that. That I have not heard before. So I'm going to make a note of it and see what relief can be brought. But as I said, for most people, obviously we assume that for those who can afford to buy bottled water, I know in my own household, we boil the water that comes from the tap, put it in the fridge, and it's good to go. So I will certainly look at that for those like yourself who can only drink cistern water and see what can be put in place, okay? But I don't have an answer for you today because that is the most unusual request.
Thank you.
Okay? All right. Let me stick with the phones. Good afternoon. Okay, we lost that caller. Callers, the numbers again are 469-1616 and 469-1700. Quarter to the hour. Let's go back to the phones. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Is it Thursday going to be the day you can go on the road and do shopping?
Thursday, the current lockdown ends on Thursday.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yes, that is the situation. Yes.
Oh, people here stay here and think. One next question. For the agriculture department, if you want to indulge and to help out the agriculture and you have equipment and you would like to help out, is that possible?
Well, of course, that would be possible. You would have to, however, reach out to agriculture. You can reach out to the Minister Jeffers. His number is 662-5007.
662-5007.
5007. Yeah, or the PSU sergeant, and his number is 762-4839.
762-4839.
4839. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, thank you.
All right. Good. Let me stick with the phones. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Honorable, in regards to the call a while ago with the water issue, all she has to do, get some buckets with covers, some decent clean buckets, and take them to the person and, fill them with the cistern water. That's easy. That's an easy something to work out right there.
Yeah, but
if the bottles won't be enough, you get some larger buckets, take them to the cistern, and then get them home. She could have water for at least 2 weeks. If you have a family of 7, it depends on how large the buckets are, and she could do that.
Okay, well, I think her concern appears to be that she doesn't have water, the cistern water now. So she might have run out of the cistern water. I'm suggesting...
Yes, because she's carrying the bottles, the gallon bottles, which are too small.
Okay, well...
so she needs to get some buckets now.
All right, well, I'm sure she would have heard the suggestion, so let us hope that once the curfew period is lifted, she can adjust, okay? All right? Let's stick with the phones. Good afternoon. Hello?
Hey, Mr. Brantley.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Don't tell me that people are going to be in the yard and people and policemen are going to come and say, well, they're going to have them going back on the inside. That's not right. If you're in your yard, police are supposed to come and tell you got to go inside your house. It don't work like that.
Okay, well, as I said, I hear that has been a complaint that has been made today. I am saying that the restrictions, as I understand them, are that you stay indoors or in your yard space. There are some people who have yards that are not fenced. The police may see outside your house and don't know that you're in your yard because your yard don't have any fence. So I'm simply saying that these are situations where a simple, courteous conversation with the police might clarify that. They say that a soft word turns away wrath, and we have to learn sometimes to use a soft word. So I don't see that as a major issue. I think the police are aware, they're listening, and I will have a conversation with them. But if people are in their yard space, my understanding is that the curfew restrictions are to their premises. So they can't come out the gate, and they can't come out their yard. But you know and I know that some people's yards aren't fenced. So how the police know that you're in your yard and you're not in your neighbor's yard?
I wouldn't want to know that I'm in my yard and police come in my yard and tell me that I got to go back inside. It's going to be something serious.
All right, I understand that, but again I say I'm asking for everybody to be patient and everybody to be understanding. You may look at the police and say the police are out of place to tell you that, but the police are trying to tell you that to keep you safe, to keep your neighbors safe, to keep all of us safe. Because if people are out and about, you may be in your yard, you go to the very edge of your yard, the neighbor come to the very edge of his yard, and I drink rum. The police come, the police see that, the police going to tell I go in our house because the police is still trying to keep people apart. So all of us have to be a little understanding and recognize, as I say, that mistakes will be made. You know, we can't treat people as if, well, everybody's perfect and everybody have perfect understanding. Mistakes will be made. Approaches sometimes might not be what we would like. But if we focus on what the objective is, which is to keep us apart so that when this is all over, we could come together. Okay?
Okay, cool.
All right, thanks, brother. 10 minutes to the hour. We're taking some calls at 469-1616, 469-1700. For those who are still interested, if they have a question or comment, I'd invite them to call. Just again to run through some stats for Nevis. We have 78 persons currently quarantined. We have done 71 tests for COVID-19. We We have had 53 negative results as of today. We've had 4 positive results. We have 14 tests that are pending. We have released 122 persons from quarantine. Of the 4 that have tested positive, they are isolated, but they are in good health. And we're grateful for that and pray that that continues. We are expecting 2 additional ventilators to be delivered shortly, and as well 2 new ambulances for the island of Nevis, which we had ordered prior to this COVID-19 pandemic. We expect that those 2 should be available shortly. Let me go back to the phone and take some more calls. Good afternoon. Hello?
Hi, Mr. Brent. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
I tip me hat for the police then. Honestly, because the police and them just like the army. When you go out in the army and you say stand up there, you have to stand up there. They get the instructions, so they are doing their instructions. So I don't know why all of us jumping on the police then, sir. I don't see make no sense, because if anything still happening in your yard, you still call it the same police then. So I think that we should try walk along with them. Secondly, Mr. Brantley, some people don't have cable. So some people can't get ZIZ. Some people can't get Kiss FM and Win FM and whatever else station. And then when you see like the governor is on, the Randy Phipps and them is on with the fellow Williams, Leslie Williams and so. Some people in Nevis can't get it, so why don't you don't try and get a link up that it could come on to Van Radio, right? And so that then people could listen. Because if we want to know how much people think in quarantine and how much this and how much that and whatnot, Van Radio doesn't really know all the time. So when they on the TV and they have the thing, they should link up along with Van Radio. The same way they say go on Kiss FM and Win FM and whenever it is. Why we also can't get a link up with Van Radio too.
Okay, well, I wasn't aware of that. I thought they were on all the radio stations. Hello? Okay, caller, your appear to have gone. Let me go back to the phone. Hello? Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Okay. Caller, I wasn't aware of that. I really thought that that national briefing came on all the radio stations. I agree with you, not everybody has television. And I'm told that it is brought on Vaughan Radio as well. So it is, in fact, on the radio stations, the main radio stations in St. Kitts and Nevis, including Vaughan Radio. I've just had that confirmed. So perhaps our people just need to pay more attention. As I said, they do a national briefing, I think, daily. And certainly Nevis does a briefing every few days from the Nevis end, where we update as well. For more information, we can go to nevisprepared.com, and to download the health app, we're encouraging people on Nevis to do that. It is kn.unhin.org. kn.unhin.org. That way you can put in whatever symptoms you might be experiencing. If you're not experiencing any, you just say no symptoms, and that's fine. But that allows us a tool for the health authorities, because that information is free, simple, and confidential. It goes directly to the health authorities, and it allows them the opportunity to respond to you in a timely way. If you're having symptoms, you can call 311 or 661-5051. Those are the hotlines to call. Let me go back to the phone. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Nivision, stay in your yard. If you want to exercise, walk all around your yard. Run all up and down the yard. Stay in your yard. Stay in your yard. And stay in your house. Me lie down till me skin and hurt me and all. Me now go away.
All right. Thank you for that. For those out there who clearly are on lockdown and might be wanting to talk to someone, need some counseling, your mental health is also very important to the Nevis government. We're asking you to call the numbers 664-7269 or 665-9565. 664-7269 or 665-9565, where we have trained counselors who are able to talk to you confidentially and to ensure that you stay on an even keel during this difficult time for everyone. Let's go back to the phones. Good afternoon.
She got a load of paracetamol. Let's give you some.
All right. Good. Social services, if you are out there, you need some help from the government, you are having difficulty paying for food, you're having difficulty surviving in this difficult era, we are asking you again to call the government, 665-2501, 665-2501, or 664-9670. I'm sharing these numbers over and over again because oftentimes people say to me, how do I get some assistance? So if you want some assistance with food or whatever it may be, 665-2501 and 664-9670. Of course, individuals are also have been assisting. I have been out in the community myself with some care packages. I know other ministers have been doing the same. But from the government point of view, 665-2501 or 664-9670 are the numbers that you could call if you require some governmental assistance to get you through this difficult period. Let me go back to the phones. We have any more calls? No. 469-1616 or 469-1700. We have about 5 minutes left. And so for those who would wish to be a part of the show, they can call in. I said it earlier, but to repeat that I would want to extend my very warm appreciation to all of the corporate entities on Nevis and on St. Kitts who have stepped forward in a significant way to assist the people of Nevis in this difficult time and the people of the wider Federation. I have a list here of some: Digicel, Flow, Sol, Delta, Bank of Nevis, Hosfords, Four Seasons, Yachtsman Grill, and there are others, of course, but also Amri Enterprises. And I single out Amri because they don't have a presence on Nevis, but yet they've indicated that their process of affording free bakery products, they will extend that to the island of Nevis, and we'll hear more about that in the coming days. Let's go back to the phones. Good afternoon. Hello?
This one radio?
Yes, you're on the air.
If you're getting Social Security, can you put in for the $1,000?
Well, if you're getting Social Security already, then I don't think that you would be eligible, because that's a benefit that Social Security is given to persons who have been laid off or have lost their income as a result of this pandemic.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right. You're most welcome. Okay, we're moving towards 6 o'clock. We did say we will stay here until 6 to take some questions. I think we've had quite a few questions. People have called in with various concerns. I just want to clarify again, because my advice to a caller talking about going on a nearby field to exercise was that that was permitted. A caller has corrected me to say that that was part of the original regulations but has since been removed, and so I stand corrected. And during the lockdown period, you're expected to stay in your house and in your yard space. That is, stay in your yard, stay in your house. That is the idea, that you're not out on the road, you're not out on the field, even for exercise. So you can perhaps exercise at home. I see people like Kervin, young Kervin, who's our Olympian. He has been online demonstrating how you can use your house to exercise and things like that. Little too rigorous for me, but certainly he has done that, and I want to commend Kervin and others who are out there showing us the way of how we can do things together during this period of lockdown. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've been here since 4:30 taking your questions. I'll come as often as I need to ensure that you get accurate information, that we can continue to talk to each other. We recognize that this is a difficult period for everyone, but I think working together, talking to each other, we can overcome it together. And so I would want to encourage you to continue to do the very best you can and continue to stay safe, stay at home, and if you have to be out, wear a mask and maintain social distancing. Maintain at least 6 feet from someone else. This is not the time to go by the bar, to go drink with your neighbor, to go hang out and drink rum. This is the time to think about your health, your safety, that of your families, of your communities, of your island, and of your country. That is a sacrifice that we are asking. Blessed Easter to each and every one of you, and may we continue to stay at home and stay safe. God bless you.
You were listening to the live interaction with the Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, and they started at 4:30 p.m. It is 6 o'clock in the Eastern Caribbean.
With all the power